too. Yeah, okay, so I think one of the main challenges I think that we found out here is the whole situation where nobody kind of scouted our location, and we've had difficult, like in most kind of TV shows where you see kind of survival related things, there's plenty of creatures around to be able to be killed, and they can be killed. That's one problem that we've faced out here. What do you think about it?
Yeah, because when we were looking into locations, our main sort of worry was water, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And actually, this location we've been fairly lucky in the sense that we found
Very lucky, yeah.
the stream, but we always thought that where there's water, there'd be wildlife.
Yeah.
And we were completely wrong with that.
Yeah. It's quite a dead forest. In many ways, obviously it's very alive, but there's quite a lot of dead wood around. I don't know if that makes much of a difference, but you know, we haven't seen too many creatures along the floor. We see a few birds, very small birds, but we don't see too many creatures.
Yeah, like we've seen the odd lizard now and again.
Like in the distance, yeah. Like I've eaten one lizard, a small lizard, that was it. But yeah, but that was at a different location. Yeah, so that's been quite a bit of a challenge, obviously, not having that protein source, which is, you know, on the ground, like a reptile or anything along those lines. We haven't even seen like rats, which I was hoping at a bare minimum you'd be able to make deadfall traps and be able to catch them. But that's something which we haven't had the opportunity to do out here, because you know we found this location on Google Earth. Like all our because we aren't able to fly out to a place beforehand. Like all our research is Google Earth, really, and that is very inaccurate, and it doesn't really show you enough detail, even nearly enough detail.
We had to, after the first 2 days of our first journey, with that going not as what we planned it to be, and for the terrain not to be what it was, you know, we had to come up with an alternative location on very quick notice. And to find this, we've done well in a sense, but it hasn't delivered everything that we were hoping to produce on camera. In terms of, you know, being able to hunt, capture stuff, cook, you know, and actually thrive out here instead of just getting by day to day.
And just surviving,
what we're doing.
Yeah, I guess. But the thing is, there's no way for us to have known where there'd be creatures anywhere in different kind of like rainforests or anything like that. It's all just pot luck. But the main thing that we have got is water. And that's the most key thing, which I'm happy about. I think that's a very big success within itself.
Yeah, if we didn't have the water, I don't think we'd be here. I think the whole sort of journey would have been cut very short. You know, the water's been very drinkable, which is why it's so surprising that there's no sort of fish or anything like that.
Exactly, or more creatures, because it's clearly drinkable. If it's drinkable for humans, if it's potable for humans, it's going to be potable for all kinds of creatures. But you know, we haven't seen that around here, unfortunately. And kind of one thing that we one thing that we thought we would find, obviously being next to like a river, we'd be able to fish. We didn't really find that the case. Well, we haven't necessarily seen any fish in there, but I'm guessing there is fish in there, as you know, rivers will have. You know, as you said, there's not many kind of birds preying on those fish, so like where are the fish in that sense? But I think one of the issues is that, you know, we changed our location, because we had our gear set for one certain location, which is like a lake type situation, and we've had to change that to a different location. In the lake situation, we would have camped very near to the lake and been able to fish out there actively, but being so far away from the river and having to make it a certain trek, burning certain calories, we've had to essentially be more passive in our fishing technique, and that meant using, you know, safety pins. You know, that was from our medical kit. It's very much improvised, because the idea of this whole survival was not to take out too much equipment, but we had the safety pins and we had some fishing line. That didn't work, because, you know, if a fish does get caught on it, then they are going to be able to escape very easily. It takes not much effort. Even a worm could escape that, and you know, a fish is a lot bigger, a lot stronger. You know, all our bait did disappear, so you know, that's sad. But I double and triple put the bait on, so that the worms or the crickets wouldn't be able to move, or like the larvae wouldn't be able to kind of get off because there's too many points of contact going through its body. But yeah, that was an issue that we faced.
Yeah.
The thing is, we're out here to prove, can survival be done by two ordinary people?
Yep.
Survival's quite, the whole survival genre is quite big on TV. And we want to see if two ordinary people can do that. And, we've proven that it can be done.
Yeah.
It can definitely be done. It's not, once you kind of get your basics in, a lot of it is the mental power of yourselves and, keeping each other's spirits up high. I know you've definitely kept my spirits up high through a lot of this. Yeah. Doing it alone would be very difficult because of the issue with time and not having any kind of companionship. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, like, it's just about counting down every day. Like, for me, I like to work things out in percentages. Like,
yeah.
Each day is another 5% of the journey done.
Yeah.
So after today, we've only got 25% left.
Exactly.
Of the whole thing to do. It's about it's giving me a lot of time to think.
Yeah.
It's giving both of us a lot of time to think.
About career, like what you want to do afterwards.
And also, like, I don't know, it's, trying to fill the day, like, I think we've spoken about movies non-stop for 2 weeks,
Yeah. And it's hard to
and food.
Keep on talking about the same thing, Like, my feelings of food have changed in the sense that, a few days ago, for the last few days, or kind of a few days ago, essentially, food was all I could imagine when I can get out, essentially. But now I've kind of gone past food because we've talked about it so much.
Yeah.
It's now like not a thing I even care to talk about because it's been talked about, and I know it's going to come. But my kind of more motivation now is just to see my friends and see people who I work with, because I go back to work on the same day I actually land. But just like food has become less and less important because it's just been over-talked, I think.
Yeah, and it will come. Like,
we know it's gonna come.
5
Yeah.
days away from feasting, and boy will we feast.
Yeah.
And it will. It's slowly getting within our grasp. Obviously there's certain foods that I want to eat when I get home. Nando's being one of the big ones. And Mexican. Yeah, man. It's just counting down the sleeps. The sleeps are still the hardest thing for me, man.
Yeah.
Last night was tough. I think I've been bitten now more yesterday than I have sort of any other day that I've been out here. So sleeping last night was very tough. It's warm at one stage and then the next minute it's cold. So yeah, it would be nice to get more than sort of an hour on a go or sleep at any one time. But we're not too far away from being in a nice, comfy hotel bed. So
exactly.
That's what we've got to think about.
Like, time is kind of a big issue, but I feel very content in what we've achieved. We wanted to at least do 2 weeks out in the wild, at least 2 weeks, and we're almost up to the 2-week mark.
Yep.
In our second location, because we did 2 days in our first location, and we're hopefully going to hit maybe 18, 19 days in our second location, and then overall a good maybe 21 days. But yeah, we've definitely exceeded our our targets that we wanted to hit. So yeah, feel very proud about that.
Yeah, man, because last week I was feeling really down when I didn't have a lot of sleep. I was cold. Kept feeling my body temperature was not where it needed to be, and I was quite close to calling it a day and walking away from the whole project. But no, I'm still here, ploughed through, and don't have that long left to go, and I can see the finish line now. There's no point giving up now. So I'm quite pleased in myself that I had the drive to stick with it.
Yeah, exactly. Often with time being our kind of enemy sometimes, because we have so much of it. The last 100 meters can sometimes be the hardest because it's so close in your grasp, and you kind of almost just waiting for that time to come, essentially.
Yeah.
Another issue we've faced out here is you know, obviously we haven't had too many calories, but you know we've been kind of fine-ish. It's obviously healing, kind of healing wounds and injuries. You know, without that kind of calories, without those nutrients and those vitamins and those minerals. If you want to kind of see my hand, it should be healing a lot faster than this if we were out in, like, you know, just the regular world. But it's taken a long time to heal. Yeah, it's taken a long time to heal because we haven't got that kind of fuel to be able to do that. My knee as well, which should have been a simple like 2, 3, 4 day injury, has gone on this whole time. It happened on the first night and it's still an issue. So yeah, it's just like injuries take a long time to heal when you're not eating enough food.
Yeah.
But you know, we are trimming down, getting into really good shape. You know, getting into really good shape. You know, it's nothing. You know, I haven't.
Getting into A shape.
Yeah, getting into A shape or anything like that. But yeah, like, you know, the weight loss hasn't been an issue at all. You know, obviously it happens, but you know, it leaves you in better shape essentially.
The hunger hasn't been a massive issue either. Right? You know, we sort of expected. I expected there to be like sort of stomach pains and, you know, hunger. You know, absolute. You know, being a killer, like, you know, where I need food, but it hasn't been like that at all. It's actually been quite surprising that, you know, you wake up, you know, that we can still go to sleep feeling hungry, you know. And hunger is just at the back of your mind, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you think you've changed from this whole kind of process so far? We are getting near to the end.
Don't know. I don't think I've changed massively, but I think I've realised that I'm a bit more determined, I've got a stronger sort of willpower.
A stronger willpower than your people didn't expect you to get so far.
Yeah, desire than what I let people clock onto, and two, you know, I've surprised myself, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely surprised me.